details that will come from the Washington, D.C. plane and helicopter collision. A lot. And in the days to come, a lot of facts and a lot of details will emerge, we hope. Because with the Trump administration's information blackout, we cannot count on facts to always be facts. Hello and welcome to the People's Brief, where I talk about people, politics, and pop culture that impact Black, brown, and queer communities. I get it in so you can get the news out, and I promise you I will not keep you long. Well, we don't know all of the facts yet, as this is literally being recorded Wednesday night, the night of the event happening. What I do know is that President Trump took several executive actions last week, his first week on the job, that impacted aviation security. When I saw that the plane crashed in Washington, I remembered an executive action, several, that received almost no news mention. And I only know about it, I only recalled it because I read a lot of news last week to do the People's Brief. And Trump disbanded the Aviation Security Advisory Committee by revoking membership to all of its members. Now, I don't know if this had any impact or effect, but it's a sign of this man's leadership. This committee was created in 1988 after the the huge Pan Am bombing. And their job was to examine safety issues at airlines and airports. And the dissolution of this committee was a part of a broader effort to eliminate advisory committees across all Department of Homeland Security agencies. Don't you think we need that level of oversight? And he also fired David Pekoski, the administrator of the TSA, the leader of TSA. He fired the boss, the leader of TSA, on his first full day in office, like in his second term. Pekoski himself was appointed by Trump. He's a Trump appointee from the first term. And he was re-given a second term under Biden in 2022 because why not? He was good at the job, was basically a partner, and he was good at the job. So why let him go? But Trump did. I'm going to keep you updated on that. And I'm also going to keep you updated on Trump's. I'll be back to give you all of the updates on what happened in DC with this plane crash, as well as the Trump administration's response to it and how it affects us and how it impacts us. I saw a video of a man who's waiting on his wife, and I'm shook. I am shook by that video.
I'm just praying that somebody's pulling her out of the river right now as we speak. That's all I can pray for. I'm just praying to God.
When was the last time you spoke with her?
She texted me that they were landing in 20 minutes.
Can you show us a text message that you got from her?
This is something that's just going to stick with us. It's going to stick with us for some time. And so I'm going to keep you updated on this case, like I'm keeping you updated on what's happening with Donald Trump's efforts to implement mass deportations. A Puerto Rican family today, including a mother, a grandmother, and a child, all legal citizens of the United States of America, were wrongfully detained by ICE in Milwaukee after being overheard speaking Spanish. For simply speaking Spanish in public, they were detained. You do realize that this is racial profiling. This is racial profiling. The family was apprehended while shopping, and they were taken into custody and transported to a detention center. That's how far this apprehension of American citizens went. All of them American citizens, because again, Puerto Ricans are American citizens by birth, and the mother attempted to explain this to them in English, that they were American citizens of Puerto Rico, but they were not allowed to clarify their status until they were already in ICE custody at a detention center. They presented official documents. These American citizens who present official documents that prove their citizenship, and ICE acknowledged their mistake, let them go. But again, they transported them there. Their family had to get their own Uber home. This clearly highlights the risk that every Black and brown person in this country faces under the Trump administration. Legal experts are advising all of us about their rights when confronted by ICE, including the fact that we have the right to remain silent and the right to legal representation. And I'm saying me too because I am Black. My family has been in this country since the 1800s. 1800s. One of my relatives was the person who chartered Kemper County, Mississippi. Kemper County, Mississippi. I can trace my family all the way back to 1832. And that man came from North Carolina. And his family came from Connecticut and moved to North Carolina. And they came from England. And then also before England, Germany. I take it way back to the 1500s, my lineage. The fact that I would ever have to even think about having some kind of proof of residency because I am a black man in America, the descendants of enslaved people who endured and pressed forward, is fucking a shame. And the fact that these American citizens from Puerto Rico, a nation that America took over and seized, is a goddamn shame. Now, the Trump administration claims he signed over 300 executive orders. It was on Wednesday that he signed his first actual law, the Laken Riley Act. This law is named after Laken Riley, a 22-year-old nursing student from Georgia who was murdered in February of 2024, almost a year ago, by an undocumented migrant in Athens, Georgia. And this law requires the Department of Homeland Security to detain certain non-U.S. nationals who have been arrested for or charged with crimes, including assaulting a police officer, crimes that result in death or serious injury, theft by taking, petty theft. The act does not include additional funding for its enforcement, leading to concerns about its implementation, but it is a pretty stringent bill. And ICE estimates that it's going to require actual detention for up to about 60,000 more people than they already have and that they're already planning to deal with. And many think that this is going to infringe on the rights of due process for migrants as well as minors and DACA recipients. He emphasized that some detainees are considered too dangerous to be held in their home countries. They're just simply too dangerous to even send back. And the order aims to expand upon an existing migrant detention center at Guantanamo Bay. Maybe this is where people would go when their country refuses to take them. I don't know. Tom Homan, the new border enforcement chief, the border czar they claim, and which Kamala never was, and we never had a border czar until Tom Homan, says that this is something that's a really good thing. And, I don't know if you know the history of Guantanamo Bay, but the United States opened this naval facility in 1903 under a lease agreement with Cuba. And it was in the 90s that it was used to detain Haitian and Cuban refugees fleeing political unrest. Then George W. Bush used it to house those accused of terrorism or just suspected of terrorism. And it's considered to be a place rich and ripe with human rights violations and considered to be one of the worst detention centers and places in the world for prisoners, dissidents, and now for migrants. And while a lot happened today, most of the day's news coverage was of the RFK Jr. confirmation hearing. Kennedy, known for his decades of vaccine skepticism, made a surprising pivot today in his hearing. He said, I am pro-safety, not anti-vaccine. But that's not what history shows. It's not. And I'm so thankful that members of Congress called it out. Through his organization, the Children's Health Defense, he's consistently questioned vaccine safety, linked vaccines to autism, although that claim is consistently disproven. And he fought hard against COVID-19 vaccine mandates that save lives, And when you look at everything, the most egregious is the Samoa incident. After 2 babies died from improperly prepared, not from the vaccines, but from the vaccines being improperly prepared, Kennedy went to the country and spread massive amounts of information that resulted in vaccination rates plummeting that led to a measles outbreak. And it killed 83 people, mostly children. 83 people died because of this man's misinformation. Okay. If he's confirmed, he would oversee the CDC, the FDA, the National Institutes of Health. This man is no doctor. This man is no scientist. But this man is going to be over those critical scientific institutions that protect and support the American people's health. During the hearing, Democratic senators challenged Kennedy's apparent change of heart. Thank God they did, to at least let us know. Take a look at this.
Mr. Kennedy, you have compared the CDC's work to Nazi death camps. You've compared it to sexual abusers in the Catholic Church. You've also said that many of them belong, this is a direct quote, many of them belong in jail. For me, those are disturbing characterizations of the CDC workers that I know who are trying to keep the American public safe every single day. And as you are presented as the nominee for this position, I need to know, do you stand by those statements that you made in the past, or do you retract those previous statements?
Senator, I don't believe that I ever compared the CDC to Nazi death camps. I support the CDC. My job is not to dismantle or harm the CDC. My job is to empower the scientists if I'm privileged to be confirmed.
So you retract those statements?
I'm not retracting it. I never said it.
Well, actually, I have a transcript
Of me saying that it's a Nazi death camp?
Yeah, let me read your words. It says that the institution CDC and the vaccine program, is your description of their work, is more important than the children that it's supposed to protect. And you know, it's the same reason we had a pedophile scandal in the Catholic Church. It's because people were able to convince themselves that the institution of the church was more important than these little boys and girls who were being raped. That's pretty provocative language. You said in another statement to me, this is like Nazi death camp. I mean, let me finish. I'm just reading your words. I mean, what happened to these kids? 1 in 31 boys in this country, their minds are being robbed from them.
Yeah, I was not comparing the CDC to Nazi death camps. I was comparing the injury rate to our children to other atrocities.
And make no mistake, he will be confirmed. All of these Trump nominees will be. They will be. But at least we know what we're dealing with. At least we know what we're in store for. And with that being said, I hope that you are well, that you will be blessed, and that whatever you do, keep pushing. I'll see you soon.